What is the minimum you have to do in terms of time management and planning and organizing and all of that to get maximum productivity? What's the minimum you have to do to get maximum productivity? Today, I want to share with you a minimalist approach to productivity and time management that I discovered. And this is actually from Babauta of Zen Habits. And it actually comes out of his book, Zen to Done. Now, in Zen to Done, he actually goes through 10 separate steps. And partway through, at pretty early on in the book, and it's a very short book. It's a short audio book, less than 2 hours long. The book, if you buy like the Kindle book, it's less than 100 pages. He goes through these 10 steps, but early on in the book, he says, if you're going to do the bare minimum, like these 10 steps are all great and you should follow them, or you would benefit by following them. But if you're going to do the bare minimum, these are the 4 things that you should do. And I want to talk about those 4 things here as kind of a one big idea. I've done these one big idea videos for these different productivity or for these different business books. And so Zen to Done, his 4 steps. I'll talk about those in just a minute, but I do have to say where I discovered this first. So I'm actually a long time getting things done follower person. Like I've followed David Allen's Getting Things Done methodology, and I'm occasionally involved in like conversations online around getting things done. And what I found is that with Getting Things Done, it is a very comprehensive productivity system. Like there's a lot that goes on to following it to the letter. And I find that there are a lot of people out there who follow Getting Things Done in a very dogmatic way. Like I have to follow everything to the letter. And they end up with these very complex productivity systems. And for me, I was finding that the more I was trying to adapt the Getting Things Done methodologies, like to the letter, the more time I would spend planning and organizing, and the less time I would spend actually getting things done. So when I discovered Zen to Done, ZTD, as opposed to GTD, when I discovered Zen to Done, I kind of took a deep breath because I realized that he was a lot like me. I've never been someone who's really like resonated with applying getting things done in this dogmatic way. Like I have to follow everything to the letter, just like David Allen says. I've always thought, it's a set of really good principles and habits. And if you can really adopt the right principles and habits, you get like 80-90% of the way towards what you might achieve by having the perfect productivity system. And it takes a lot less effort, it takes a lot less time, it takes a lot less energy to get those, to get that 90% through adopting the right habits and methodologies and principles versus doing everything in this ultra complex system. And so it really resonated with me when I found Zen to Done, and I found these, he goes through 10 steps. A lot of them were very familiar to me because I've gone through Getting Things Done. Some of them were a little bit different. But I'm going to go through he said, okay, the 10 steps are a simplification of Getting Things Done and 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey, like those productivity systems as well. The 10 steps are a simplification of that. But if you're going to do the bare minimum, if you're going to do like, what is the minimalist approach to productivity and time management? It's these 4 steps. So step 1 is collect. Basically, you constantly are having ideas. You constantly are having things that capture your attention. You constantly are having like a conversation. And as a result of that conversation, you get 3 to-do items that you have to get done. And there's all of these different like inputs that you're having. And in addition to that, you have things showing up in your email inboxes. You have phone calls coming in. You have texts coming in. You have social media messages coming in and social media notifications and all of that. And all of these things have your attention. And the first most important thing that you can do is that if you think that you are ever going to need to pay attention to something again, you need to collect that. You need to capture that in some form. Now, it's great. This is something called the Hipster PDA. It's basically just a bunch of blank index cards with a binder clip to hold them together. Hipster PDA, this is a great capture tool. If you have a small notebook, here's something that I've tried. These tiny little composition notebooks also work great. You can throw them in your back pocket. They are paper, so you can just write down quickly. Just capture what has your attention. When I'm sitting at my desk and I'm just taking notes for calls, I like this bigger piece of paper, this bigger notebook, really plain pieces of paper. These are like sketch pads, right? It's just blank paper, and I just take notes on that. Capture what has your attention. And the simpler the tool, the better. Occasionally, oops, I will open up my phone here. And I use Workflowy. Workflowy being a great tool for like outlining and stuff like that. You can use that to capture if you have a designated list that is just an inbox, as well as anything coming into all your inboxes. You want to collect all of these things that have your attention and might need your attention again in the future. Step 2, simple productivity system, is process. You have to figure out what you are going to do about all of these things that have your attention. And you have to deal with your inboxes. You have to choose. You can choose to file something away. Get it out of the way, but somewhere that you can find it again. If it's something that's not actionable, that it's just something that you want to have for later, file it away. Delegate it. You can pass it on to somebody else. You can reply really quickly and actually delegate it back to the person who sent it to you. You can pass it off to an assistant or to an employee or even to a boss or something. If somebody else needs to deal with it, you delegate it to them. You defer it. That is, you put it on a to-do list to do later. And that list, you should have a list of action items that you need to do. This can be projects. This can be individual, just like, hey, I need to respond. Like, I got this letter from the bank in the mail and I need to do something about it. Just defer it in whatever way, which means putting it either on your calendar or on a to-do list for later for, when you're going to do that. Or if it's going to take less than 2 minutes, just do it. Just do it. If it's going to take less than 2 minutes, the general rule there is that it's going to take more time to follow up with it than it is to do it. And so just get it done and out of the way. So file, delegate, defer, or do. Also, one option when you're processing is just trash it. Like if it's something that either, is just pure trash or recycling. I have both the trash and recycling bin next to my desk. If it's pure trash or recycling, just get rid of it as quick as possible. Or if it's something that, maybe it's an email that is just an email that maybe you could reply to it, but maybe you don't have to. Maybe you just need to hit archive or delete and prioritize the time to your more important projects. So we have collect, we have process. Now, as part of all of this, we should be coming up with some bigger goals and some projects that we need to get done and ways that we want to spend our time. And so we plan. We collect, we process, and we plan. Now, the way that Leah Babauta teaches in Zen to Done, he teaches that you should just have one big goal at a time that you focus on. And it's hard for me to disagree with that. I certainly have more projects that I'm working on at a time, but the more I focus on one goal and the more that you focus on one goal, the more productive you'll be. And that goal could be something that it takes you a year to achieve. That goal could be something that it takes you a week to achieve. But you should focus on that one big goal and focus. I love to remember the acronym. Follow one course until success. FOCUS. Follow one course until success, which again really aims towards having one big goal, one major focus of what you are dedicating your life to at this moment. And the more you fracture your focus onto a million different things, the harder it can be to achieve all of those. So you have your one big goal. Also, you have weekly rocks. Now, this language actually comes from 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And there's the story of, if you fill a container, if you fill a glass with sand, with tiny rocks, then there is never room to put in anything bigger. So you fill a glass with sand, and you can't put more big rocks into it. Whereas like these big rocks are your big goals, these big projects, these big things that you need to get done. If you put those into the container first and then you pour sand over it, sure, lots of little things can fill around the big rocks, but you can never fill in the big rocks once the container is already full of sand. So if you're filling your life with minutia, with little things, and you're never focusing on those big things, if you're never prioritizing the big rocks, then those little things will just fill up all of your time and never let you get the big things done. And so as part of planning, the recommendation is that you set a couple big goals for the weeks. These are the big things that you want to get done, your weekly rocks. And so as part of your planning, you need to establish, okay, these are the big things that need to be done by the end of the week that I'm going to have to create time in my week to make sure that they get done. And everything else is going to have to fill in around them. Now, once your weekly rocks are established, so we have our big goal, we have our weekly rocks, and then we have to plan our days. And so the way that it's taught in ZTD is that in planning your days, you really want two types of tasks. You want your most important tasks. And for that, there should be no more than three. Really, like these are the big things that are going to contribute to my weekly rocks and to my big goal. These are the up to three things that I need to get done today in order for my day to have been successful. And the recommendation is to carve out that time as early as possible in your schedule and get those things done early. So prioritize those things, get them done early, do them early in the day, and let everything else fill in behind them. And the other thing that I really liked about ZTD is how he describes the rest of the things that you need to get done in the day. So the reality is in most of our days, we're getting, in a productive day, we could be getting a dozen things or more done. We could be getting 20 things done. But most of them are little tiny tasks like, oh, I need to call this person. I need to reschedule this appointment. I need to do this. I need to do that. I need to do whatever. And the way that Babauta describes those are batch tasks. Like it's a set of tasks that you can just do in a batch. Like you have 5 little things that you need to get done in addition to the 3 big things. And so you plan your most important tasks, your MITs is what he calls them, most important tasks, and you chunk time in your day for that. And then you chunk just a batch task time. And a lot of times this can be like, oh, I've done all my deep work. Like the deep work is those most important tasks. I've done my deep work for the day, and I just need something like where I can just be productive, but it takes less energy, less focus, less attention, and I can just get a bunch of things done. And so you carve out, okay, maybe I need an hour to get these things done. And so you spend an hour doing that. And then if you have more time after that, you can go back, you can say, okay, what's maybe another most important task, or what are some more batch tasks that I can just get out of the way? So planning, you have that big goal, you have your weekly rocks, you have your most important tasks that you want to get done early in the day if possible. And then you have your batch tasks that are all that sand that fills in around the big rocks. And so we have 3 of our 4 steps in this minimalist productivity and time management system. And the 4th step that's recommended, this one's going to be really simple. But the argument that Babauta actually makes is that in getting things done, which a lot of his system is based on, so much time is dedicated to the planning and to the organizing of all of the things that you need to do and to staying on top of all of that, that very little time is left for and very little focus is put on the single most important thing you can do when it comes to productivity and time management. Do the thing. Do the things that you need to do. And for that, the emphasis actually comes out of like Zen, right? Zen Buddhism. Zen is, meditation is all about learning to focus your attention. And you focus your attention on the breath in meditation, or you focus on the emptiness of a white wall in Zen. I'm not as familiar actually with Zen Buddhism as some of the other schools, some of the other teachings of meditation, but it's all about focus. It's all about having this like open awareness and focus on something. And a lot of research has actually found that the more you're able to single focus, that you're able to single task as opposed to multitask, the more productive you will be. And of course, you can single task on this, and then you can single task on this and this and this and this throughout your day, or even throughout the course of an hour. But the more you can focus on one single task, the more powerfully productive you will be. And so when it comes to that number 4 on the minimalist productivity and time management approach as taught in ZTD Done, he teaches focused time blocking, like set aside time to do those most important tasks, set aside time to do focused attention, eliminate distractions, shut down any extra tabs, turn off notifications. I keep my phone on silent. I try to avoid any notifications that are going to interrupt me, and just eliminate all distractions if possible while you're focused on the important work. And then there's one last little trick. And we all have this capability in our smartphones. I also have this capability, and now I'm not seeing it on my desk right now, but I know it is here if I wanted to find it. I have a little kitchen timer, and the kitchen timer is, use a timer, set a timer. I have a little kitchen timer where I can set that timer for however much time, and it will it'll go for that, and then it'll go off. I also have timer software on my computer, so it's clear that this is something that I value. Being able to just set a timer and focus on those tasks for that period of time. And the great thing about that, this has been taught over and over again in productivity systems. Even Eugene Schwartz, the famous copywriter, he taught this as something that he did for 33 minutes and 33 seconds. He would set his kitchen timer for 33 minutes, 33 seconds, and hit go. And he would the only thing he would allow himself to do was focus on that one task, that one, for him, writing task. And doing these a few times throughout the day, he would do, let's say in 4 blocks, it's only 2 hours, but 2 hours of immensely focused writing is often enough to generate a very large amount. And he was incredibly prolific because he knew that just a few chunks of this really focused time throughout the day would allow him to write just these incredibly powerful ads that generated plenty of income and success for him. And so whatever your productive task is, you set a timer. You chunk out that time, you set a timer, and you hit go, and then you just focus on that without distractions. You do. And if you follow this process, if you collect whatever has your attention, if you process it to figure out, is this something I need to do something with? Is this something somebody else needs to do something with? Is this something I just want to have available? Or is this something that should leave my life and never come back? You process it, and then based on what you have collected and processed, you make plans based on your biggest goals, based on your weekly rocks, based on your most important tasks for the day, based on any batch tasks that you need to get done as well. And then you just focus on doing. You focus on doing the tasks that you need to do. If you do just that at the bare minimum, you will be immensely productive. And so it is the most minimalist productivity and time management system that I feel like covers all the bases of what's actually happening when I'm being productive and managing my time well. There is certainly, you can go much deeper by going into the book ZTD Done by Babauta. You can also go much deeper by getting into getting things done and that incredibly comprehensive approach to productivity and organization and planning that includes as well. But even if you just do these 4 steps, you are going to be more organized, more productive, and you're going to manage your time far better than people who are not doing just these 4 basic things. So with that, my name is Roy Furr. This has been a video issue of Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. This one is about success planning, time management, critical entrepreneurial skill. Most of my videos are about marketing, copywriting, business building, selling, direct response, those topics. If you would like more content like this, the first thing I want you to do is leave a comment below. Let me know on a scale of 1 to 10 how valuable you found this and why, this is a topic, this video in particular, what's your biggest takeaway? What's your biggest action item? How are you going to be trying this in the days going forward. Also click that like button before you go so you get more content like this delivered to you, and so the magical algorithms of the internet know to share it with people like you who will find it valuable. You can certainly share it with folks directly. And subscribe. Subscribe here before you go. Also go to Breakthrough Marketing Secrets, get my daily emails Monday through Friday, including videos like this, as well as videos on marketing, copywriting, business building, direct response selling, and more. Again, my name is Roy Furr for Breakthrough Marketing Secrets, and check out the links in the description to Zendeton and other resources related to this video. I always aim for that 10 out of 10 value. I hope that I've delivered it here, and I look forward to seeing you again in your next video. I'll see you soon. Bye.